Stan Lee is known for his legendary cameo appearances. However, did you know that Stan Lee's presence extends beyond just cameos in these films and video games and whatnot? Well, outside of his appearances, Marvel filmmakers and creatives have built in tributes and Easter eggs to the man himself, creating references to works outside of Marvel and even immortalizing him in a video game. So today, Stan Lee presents the top 10 Stan Lee Easter eggs you may have missed. Let's get started. At number 10, we have the Stan Lee mural from Deadpool 2. While Stan Lee didn't give a live-action cameo performance for Deadpool 2, they still managed to bring him in visually. This time around, a Stan Lee graffiti mural can be seen on a building as Domino descends upon the convoy that the X-Force was supposed to intercept. Unfortunately, the rest of the team perished, but at least she made it, and we get to see the graffiti mural. The art was updated for Once Upon a Deadpool, the PG-13 release of Deadpool 2. This time around, the art has a newly graffitied RIP. This was because Stan Lee had passed away before the cut was released, therefore this was a way to honor him posthumously. But I would be lying if I said that Stan Lee didn't have any sort of live-action cameo related to Deadpool 2. While he isn't in the film itself, he was featured in a teaser for Deadpool 2 titled No Good Deed, which served as a non-traditional post-credit scene for Logan. Here, he's seen complimenting Deadpool's suit, to which Deadpool responds in a rather rude manner.
Zip it, Stan Lee!
At number 9, we have Stan Lee's glasses from Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy video game from 2021. In the 2021 Guardians of the Galaxy video game, a little nod to Stan Lee can be seen in the Collector's Emporium. In one of the displays are a pair of sunglasses. The game describes them as belonging to a, quote, powerful cosmic entity seemingly capable of being anywhere in the galaxy at any given time, which is referring to Stan's world-breaking cameo appearances. And, you know, this is definitely Stan Lee they're talking about because the description ends with his catchphrase, Excelsior! Number 8, we have the Mallrats script from Captain Marvel. Now, I've talked about this scene once before, check out the Stan Lee cameos video we did if you haven't already, but I have to cover it again because it isn't just a cameo, it's an Easter egg as well. There are layers behind this cameo appearance. In this scene, we have the titular Captain Marvel walking through a train trying to find a hidden scroll. As she does a quick scan of all the passengers, she notices something that might be a bit suspicious. Someone hiding their face behind a bright pink script for the film Mallrats. She walks up and takes a quick peek at the person behind the script, and ta-da! It's Stan Lee. He smiles at her and she smiles back. It's a quick moment, but it's a touching one. And it serves as a quick callback to the film Mallrats. Now, this is important because Mallrats is the film that Stan Lee had a cameo in. So, you know, them including Mallrats, him reading Mallrats, him reading the script, it all ties back to that film. At number 7, we have the Stan Lee statue from the Insomniac Spider-Man games for PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5. You can't talk about Spider-Man without talking about Stan Lee, and the Spider-Man video games by Insomniac contain an Easter egg that forever memorializes the man himself. Originally created in Spider-Man Miles Morales and brought back in Spider-Man 2 for the PS5, this Easter egg is located in the Upper West Side of Manhattan, right next to a restaurant called Mick's Diner. There, players can find a statue of Stan the Man standing tall and proud. The plaque at the base of the statue reads, quote, dedicated with love to the man who nourished the hearts, minds, and souls of true believers everywhere. Excelsior. Unquote. It's a wonderful way of honoring the man who helped bring Spider-Man to life, and memorializing him in such a way that players can actually, visit in-game. You don't have to go anywhere. If you have the game, you can just go in there and, pay tribute. Number 6, Stan Lee's wife in X-Men Apocalypse. While Stan Lee makes cameo appearances in several projects he's involved in, even if it's not in person, it's not very often that we get family cameos. In X-Men Apocalypse, in the scene where Apocalypse launches all the nukes into space, there, in the suburbs, looking up at the sky, is Stan Lee. But who's that in his arms? Well, it's his wife Joan Lee. Depending on how much you follow the life of Stan Lee, in this blink and you miss it moment, you may not have even recognized her, but yes, both Stan and Joan make a Lee couple cameo appearance. Number 5, Stan Lee's advertisement in Deadpool and Wolverine. Even though Stan may be gone, his character still holds business on Earth 10005, aka the Foxverse, aka Deadpool's universe, as seen in Deadpool and Wolverine. Towards the end of the film, in the climactic scene where Deadpool and Wolverine must fight a horde of Deadpool variants, you can see an advertisement on the side of the bus that reads, "Your friendly neighborhood cleaners, Stan Lee Steamers." It also says like fighting grime since, but I couldn't make out the date. But this advertisement even comes complete with an image of Stan Lee himself. What makes this little Easter egg even better is that the business that Stan runs is a parody of a real business called Stan Lee Steamers. Font and all, they copied the colors, the font, everything. And I know y'all definitely know the jingle, and no, I'm not gonna sing it. Instead, I'm gonna have the editor put in the tail end of the jingle so we don't get caught by copyright. Right now. Stan Lee Steamers. That's all I'm gonna give y'all. Number 4, Stan Lee as Willie Lumpkin. I know everybody's probably preoccupied talking about the new MCU Fantastic Four, but today we're going to be taking a look at a little cameo appearance by Stan Lee in 2005's Fantastic Four. Let me set the scene. Dr. Richards and company return to the Baxter Building and are greeted by Stan Lee playing a mailman. While many believe Stan's appearance as a mailman to be another no-name cameo appearance, comic book fans will catch that Stan's actually playing a character named Willie Lumpkin, who Stan himself co-created with artist Dan DeCarlo back in the 1960s. Hey, if you know the comics very well, you'll know all of these little tidbits. At number 3, we have the Stan Lee posters scattered throughout the Marvel Netflix shows. Remember earlier when I said that Stan makes appearances in a lot of projects he's involved in, even if it's not in person? Well, look no further than the Netflix Marvel lineup of shows: Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, and The Defenders. In each of these Netflix shows, Stan takes on a role of a police officer, and his image can be seen on posters, plaques, and advertisements scattered throughout. Let's start with Daredevil, where a plaque of Stan Lee can be seen in the background hung on the wall of a police precinct. Jessica Jones features another plaque, very similar to the first, again at the police precinct, but this one's just a little harder to spot since it's further in the background. In Luke Cage, Stan is on a poster that says, "See a crime? Report it," posted up on a glass window of what looks like a bodega or some sort of just grocery store, local grocery store. In Iron Fist, Stan can be seen in what seems to be a recruitment poster with the text "Be Proud" on it. And lastly, in The Defenders, an advertisement or poster can be seen at a bus stop, and it features police officer Stan. If you're asking why Stan couldn't make a live-action appearance, well, he was pushing 90 by the time these shows launched, so it's no surprise that he couldn't make every single one of his cameos in person. Number 2. This one is for the superfans of Stan Lee. This is the Stan Lee license plate. While Stan doesn't appear at all in WandaVision, the Disney Plus series, a Stan Lee-centric Easter egg can be spotted in the intro for episode 7 of the show. If you take a closer look at the license plate featured in the intro, you'll notice a string of numbers in the place of where the name of the state is usually found. The numbers read 12/28/22. What does it mean? Well, it's a date, we know that. And nowadays, people might read it as December 28th, 2022. However, it's actually December 28th, 1922. And why might that date be important, you may ask? Well, it's Stan Lee's birthday. You gotta appreciate the details, y'all. This was a good one. It doesn't even appear in the intro for that long, and I believe this intro is only used once because of the way WandaVision is formatted, so props to y'all for finding that. And lastly, at number 1, we have Stan Lee's catchphrase, seen in the first Guardians of the Galaxy film. For our last Easter egg, we take a look at Stan Lee's cameo in the first Guardians of the Galaxy film. Sure, it's another cameo, but we're not taking a look at Stan Lee. Instead, we're looking at the scroll text that appears on screen during this cameo. Yes, as the camera hovers on Stan Lee, the text on screen translates to Excelsior, which we all already know is Stan's famous catchphrase. This was written in scroll language. It took fans 4 years to discover this Easter egg, with director James Gunn confirming that it was indeed what the text translates to. You gotta thank the eagle-eyed fans for this one. I'm sure in theaters, everyone was like, what does that mean? What does it read? But, once you have the home release, you could scrub through it and all that. So thank y'all for re-watching Guardians of the Galaxy and scrubbing through it to discover that the text translates to Excelsior. Appreciate it. And that's all for the top 10 Stan Lee Easter eggs you may have missed. Looking back at this list, it's nice to know that even though Stan Lee has passed on, he's still immortalized through these little Easter eggs and references that filmmakers and Marvel creatives have weaved into their works. From video games to films and everything in between, Stan Lee's spirit lives on, and his place in the Marvel Universe will never be forgotten. So, what Easter eggs did you like the most? Got any that we missed on this list? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell to be notified when we upload next. Till next time, Excelsior!